Hi everybody, Fran here on Alan History Nerd. This video is a run through of the dates you need to know if you are studying AQA A-Level History, Unit 2J, America and Nation Divided. These dates are going to be focused on the first year of the course, so circa 1845 through until 1861, and also I'm going to be doing a specific emphasis on the 2022 pre-release from AQA. The course starts circa 1845, so we can go back in time a little bit there. So this is a summary of what you need to know before 1845. So for the Missouri Compromise, you need to know about the Talmadge Amendment, and you also need to know about Henry Clay's Missouri Compromise. The Mexican War is an event you need to know as part of the course, and some of the causes of that war that starts in 1846 are before 1845. So you need to know that in the 1820s, Americans are settling into Texas. We've got the nullification crisis, which is 1828 through until 1832. And then we've also got a second bullet point after that is more of a time frame rather than a single event. And that is 1835-6, the Texan Revolution from Mexico. There are some states that are admitted in this period that you need to know about. So we've got Arkansas in 36 and Michigan in 37. We've got the election of Polk in 1844, and we've got Tyler annexing Texas just before James Polk will be inaugurated as president. From here on in, each year is going to be a slide. So starting with 1845, Texas is admitted as a state under Polk, and we've got the Rio Grande Incident that will trigger off the Mexican War. It is important to remember that war with Mexico is not formally declared by Congress until 1846, even though the Rio Grande Incident is in 1845. Inside of the Mexican War, it's important to know we've got the Will Not Proviso, and then in 1846, we've got some of the key events in the Mexican War, namely Kearny occupying Santa Fe. 1847 is still part of the Mexican War, so we've got some key events relating to that war, namely Taylor defeating Santa Anna's army at the Battle of Buena Vista, and we've got Winfield Scott capturing the capital of Mexico, which is Mexico City. We've got some other events happening in America in this year, so we've got the Calhoun Doctrine, and we've also got the 30th Congress, where Polk and others propose the idea that the 36-degree 30 line from the Missouri Compromise should be extended across to the Pacific, but that will fail to pass. In 1848, the Mexican War is going to end with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and we're going to see the election of Zachary Taylor. In 1849, we've got the California Gold Rush and the 31st Congress, which includes Calhoun's address to the people of the southern states. That won't get too much support. Then between the March and December of 1849, we've got Congress's sitting ending, Zachary Taylor making moves for California and New Mexico to be admitted, and then the aftermath of that when Congress reconvene, which is sort of famous for the fistfights in Congress that we see. In 1850, we have the Compromise of 1850, an event you very much need to know, and what I've put underneath indented is the Fugitive Slave Law, because that is given its own little shout out on the specification and on the 2022 pre-release. In 1852, Uncle Tom's Cabin is released. Now this isn't on the pre-release, it has been removed, but it is more than worth knowing, and we've got the election of Franklin Pierce. In 1853, we've got the Gadsden Purchase and events relating to Cuba. And then going into 1854, we've got the Ostend Manifesto. We've also got the Anthony Burns incident, which is actually relevant to the Fugitive Slave Law, and we very famously got the Kansas-Nebraska Act. In 1856, there's Bleeding Kansas. This isn't on the pre-release, but it is worth knowing where it sits chronologically. In 1856, we've got the election of James Buchanan, and we've got the beating of Charles Sumner by Preston Brooks. In 1857, we've got the Dred Scott ruling, and in 1858, we've got the Lincoln-Douglas debates. 1859 is famous because it is when Harper's Ferry occurs, and then we hit 1860. So we've got the split of the Democrat Party in 1860. Make sure you know that there are two conventions that occur. We've got the one in Charleston and the one in Baltimore. You've then got the 1860 election itself, and never forget that South Carolina will secede in 1860 on the 20th of December. In 1861, we've got the lower southern states seceding first. We've got two attempts at compromise, the Crittenden Resolution and Virginia Peace Convention. Both will fail. We then get Fort Sumter, and then the upper southern states secede after that point, and the first year course. And this video ends with Lincoln issuing a call to arms.
Huge thank you to Fran for another excellent video. Really important though to make sure you know your key dates and you've got all that key information ready for the exam, and to build your knowledge around that. So go back to the America playlist and look at those stuff in more detail. Thank you very much for watching, and again a huge thank you to Fran.